Hey, what's going on, guys? AutoFull Gaming here. Welcome back to the channel. Figured we would kick things off here by doing our first build on the channel. Normally we reserve these for our Instagram pages. We'll still be posting the completed build we do here today. This one brought to you thanks to BITFENIX for supplying their awesome NovaMesh TG case. This one being in white. Like I said, we haven't done a fully white build in a while. We wanted to do something, like I said, just plain white. Maybe with some subtle lighting in here. Just something minimal on the RGB side. Like I said, we really got these easy DIY fab cables here, so we figured we would go and put these to some good use. Since they're black and white, we'll do a kind of a black and white based build. Run down to the parts here. Like I said, we do have the NovaMesh TG in white with some of their Spectre ARGB fans. These are some awesome fans, really good lighting on these guys. Like I said, we have worked with the NovaMesh in the past, but it was a black one, so we figured we'd knock out an all-white build today with this one. To power this, we have a Enwin, was this the C 1250 watt, kind of overkill for the parts we're using today, but it should make us RTX 3000 ready, since that's true because most of you guys have seen they're going to require 850 watt power supplies, kind of plus, especially once getting up to the higher range cards, and especially if you want to overclock. We'll definitely be testing that out when we can get one of those in. Today, we're just using our RTX 2070 Super. The Oris card, like I said, our normal go-to. This is an awesome card, still great for overclocking, even though you probably will be to find a little cheaper now with the release of the 30 series cards. Cooling our CPU today, we have the Deepcool Castle 360 EX RGB. This actually includes some of the new MF 120G fans. We've built with these in the past as well since they were launched, these guys. Like I said, again, big thanks to you to Deepcool for sending those over our way where we can build with them. So we've used the Castle in the past, but this one actually includes their new fans now, so they look awesome. So can't wait to throw those in there as well, even though we'll probably be going for more of a just solid color, maybe just an all white color once we get into building with this one today. But again, big thank you to Deepcool for sending that over. And then motherboard of choice today, we're actually going with a B550, first B550 build we've done for our Instagram or the YouTube. This is the Oris Pro. A little sad story, our normal one we use, the X570 Oris Elite, actually died on us. So we were pretty upset about that, but luckily we did have this B550 Oris Pro on backup. Like I said, still a really solid board, still gonna be able to do PCIe Gen 4. So like I said, again, it's still pretty excited to work with it. And kind of fitting the white theme, we figured we'd stick with some RAM modules we had that were kind of white. We had a choice of a few we were working with. We actually had some of the G-Skill Trident Z's ready. Like I said, these still look great. We might go with these. We'll have to test fit these and see kind of how they look in the system. All these are gonna be comparable in performance. We were just kind of looking over aesthetics here. But these Trident Z ones here, they're kind of black and silver, so it actually might end up matching some accents in the motherboard, since the motherboard does have some silver accents. We were debating on those. We had some from Team Group sent over as well. These are their Excalibur. Also really solid kit here, 3600 speed. Has some cool designs on the heat sinks. You've probably seen, if you check out our Instagram over at AutoFull Gaming, you've probably seen us use these before, as well as their G-Skill kit. And we actually just recently built with some XPG. These are their Spectrix DRAM kit. We might end up going with these because they do have white heat spreaders on them, kind of more of a silver and white look. Try to match that all white aesthetic, and we actually do have a 32 gig kit here, so we'll be able to actually fill off 4 slots. So we'll see once we dive into building it, kind of what we decided to go with. But we're leaning a little more towards these just for looks. But I mean, that would be for if anything, mainly it just for looks, because we want to build out this all white case here. So let's get the case unboxed. We'll go over a couple things with the case itself, then we'll dive into building. So let's go. Oh, I didn't see you there. Chilling in my AutoFull mechanical master chair. Link in the description to check these out. We have our own code. All right, now they got the case flipped around here, let's go ahead and take it out. We'll take a look at the case. Again, thank you again to BITFENIX for sending this over for us to check out. Like I said, we've worked with this case in the past, just a black version of this case. And it actually does come with some of their RGB fans as well. Like I said, the Spectre ARGB fans. Before we actually dive into this, we are doing a giveaway on our Instagram currently. If you head over there and check it out. We actually did a review of another BITFENIX case here on the YouTube channel not that long ago. Their Dawn TG case. We're actually giving one of those cases away. So the way it's working, and we explain it on the Instagram post as well, if you check the highlights on our Instagram page, we're actually doing, like I said, a giveaway for some Spectre ARGB fans. The same fans are included with this case, as well as their Dawn TG case. So if you want to check that out, go over to our highlights on the Instagram and it'll go over all the rules. So basically the way it's going to work, just to give you a rundown, and you can check out the details there and how to enter. We have a post going on the Instagram page of an IGTV video, kind of go over the rules. But basically, once that post reaches 1,000 likes, we're doing a giveaway for their Spectre ARGB fans. We're actually doing a 6-pack of those. And then for the case itself, once that video reaches 3,000 likes, that'll unlock the giveaway for the case itself, for that Dawn TG case. And basically how that works is you'll have to come back over to our YouTube channel once you go over to our Instagram, follow us, and of course follow BITFENIX for providing the case for the giveaway. You'll come back to the YouTube channel of the review we did of the Dawn TG case and actually just comment what your favorite feature of the case is. It's a really solid case, full-size ATX case, some really cool lighting. So if you guys want to check that out, whether you're interested in the giveaway or not, like I said, really cool case to check out if you guys are, especially if you're interested in some RGB. Like I said, it's a really, really cool case to work with. Like I said, that's why we're happy to kind of build in this one today. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this one. We'll go and take it out of the box here. If we can go and get it out of the box. Like I said, we'll go ahead and unbox this guy, slide him on out here. Definitely packed well, tightly fits. We might have to do the flip trick. Actually lean it over and then flip it out. There we go. We're going to slide it up here. Just take all the styrofoam off. Set this down to the side. Don't want to break anything before we get the build in it. Take these off over here. Slide this up. Turn it around here where you guys can check it out. This is a really solid mesh front panel case. Like I said, so if you guys are looking for a case out there with some really good airflow, it's gonna be hard to beat anything with mesh front panel, obviously. So this one, really solid mesh front panel here. The front is still tempered glass. So you have the normal 4 thumb screws here. Of course, you have a removable magnetic dust filter here up top. And if I remember correctly, there's one on the power supply shroud as well. That's gonna be in white there too. Going around to the back here, your standard I/O port included here, as well as your PCIe graphics here, or PCIe slots. Like I said, aesthetically, all the way around, looks really good. Definitely liked the way they followed the white paint here. Like I said, it is hard to match kind of white plastic to a white, metal case, whether it be, aluminum or steel. So they actually do match pretty well. Like I said, they did pretty good job on this guy. Like I said, that's the biggest gripe I have with typically with all white cases. It's hard to match that, white to white, whereas with black, it's not as big of a deal because it can be a little off. It can be gray or more of a tint of gray than black, and it'll still pretty much match the case. White, a little easier to see though. So if we go and kind of dive into the case here, we'll check out what we get here. We'll leave the plastic on there for later. We'll do a fun peel with that. So I'll go and open the case up here. Geez, they're tight from the factory. And set these to the side. Lay that down there. I don't want to drop the tempered glass. I might have to get a screwdriver. This last one is pretty tight on there. Yep, I'm gonna have to grab a screwdriver. Hold one just a second. All right, back with the screwdriver now. Like I said, we can get this last one out. It's pretty tough. Pretty tightly screwed in from the factory. So we're gonna pop this one off. And to help protect the glass, because I don't want to just lay it back down on the table here, I actually do have a little mouse mat. And I say mouse mat because I actually couldn't get one of the mod mats. So we're actually going to use a Gamer's Nexus mouse mat here. Like I said, we're waiting on some of their larger mod mats to get back in stock. I believe they have the mediums going right now, but didn't want to, like I said, didn't really want to get one of those. I'd rather have a large mod mat. Like I said, we'll go ahead and set that down where we can put the glass on something that's scuffing it up here. Lay that guy down. All right, so going inside the case now, you do have your manual here for the case. I'll set that off to the side. And it's included with this case, you actually do get some of their Spectre RGB fans. Like I said, still doing the giveaway on those, so go check that out. But it looks like we have 4 pre-installed here. We got 3 in the front, 1 in the back here. So you know, 3 intake, 1 exhaust going on. Really nice cable grommets here on the inside of the case, and we'll get down closer here in just a second, take a look at that. When we actually start doing the build and everything, you guys see a little build montage go on when we actually start installing everything. But again, plenty of build room here. Like I said, full ATX mounting in here. Already have motherboard standoffs pre-installed here. Like I said, 2 cable grommets coming out here. There's 2 in the bottom with no grommets, and it looks like we have a little pass through here for the EPS cable for the CPU. And then, like I said, all the front panel headers here. Looks like we have mic and headphone, 2 USB 3s, and looks like we have a power and reset button on top as well. And I believe to get this one off, this front panel here just pops up. Let's see if we can go and get that off real quick. Yeah, it's pretty easy to remove. And as you see, pretty easy to remove mesh front panel here. Doesn't look like it's meant to come out as far as for cleaning. There's little tabs here that do hold it in, but I'm not sure how much I would want to put that and bend that back and forth. So you can just take the whole panel off. So when you get ready to clean it, you use a data vac or some compressed air to clean this guy off. I'm gonna set that to the side. And like I said, you do have 3 of their Spectre ARGB fans included here already. Set that foot to the side. Like I said, they're already kind of pre-wired, and there's little cutouts here on the side to run those through. So pretty much if you do a radiator like we intend to do with this one, we'll probably end up installing to the front. We'll play around with that and see, because we do want to use a 360 rad in this. It doesn't have quite the mounting for a 360 up top. Looks like we're gonna have to, yeah, like I said, up top would be a 240 or 280 mil rad. So if you did want to use a 360, it had to be in the front, set up to push through. Like I said, you might be able to get away with pull too, push-pull configuration. It is a little snug on the front here, but there is a cutout here in the power supply shroud to slide a radiator down through that. So we might play around with that and see if we can get that in there, depending on if we have enough room to go tube down and bring it back up to the motherboard, actually to the socket. So we'll play around with that one and see. Should have taken off the back here. We'll see how much room we have behind it. Like I said, it's been a while since I built in the Dawn TG, or excuse me, the Novamesh TG. We already built the Dawn TG, go check that out. I'll link that up there if you want to check that out. But this is the Novamesh TG. Like I said, it's been a little bit since I built in the black one they sent over. So I'll go ahead and pop this off, take it off where you guys can see it. So it looks like we do have some mounting for hard drives down at the bottom here. So if we flip it around, it looks like the power supply is going to stall in through the back here. There's some padding here on the little feet here on the bottom, and then on the back of the case itself to keep your power supply from moving around at all once you get it screwed in. Not to beat up the case or beat up your power supply. Looks like there's just a single SD mount here. Little thumb screw comes out, and then you can take the tray out to mount your SDs there. Plenty big cutout here for any access to your cooler or any your back plate for your CPU, any mounting here. So that's really nice to see. Good size cutouts there. So in case something does happen, you don't have to rip your entire system apart to replace just your back plate or your cooler. And then as far as front panel connectors, like I said, we got the USB 3 connector there, and then the HD audio and front panel connectors as well. Looks like we got a little drive sled down here. So it looks like that is removable as well. You can slide that out, and it looks like they just use the squeeze tabs here to for the 3.5 inch drives. Looks like they just squeeze, slide in and out. So it's pretty easy to work with as well. They lock in pretty well. And then we have all the headers here for the Spectre ARGB fans. What is cool with these fans, what we've liked working about with these in the past, is actually that they're daisy chainable. So no really need to use a controller unless you did want to wire them into a controller. You can actually daisy chain all of these fans together and then use them, you know, take one 4-pin ARGB connector back to, or excuse me, 3-pin ARGB connector back to your motherboard, and then a 4-pin PWM connector. You can actually just chain them all together if you don't want to route, you know, individual ones, because like most motherboards can handle easily up to, you know, 5 or 6 fans per pin. Except if you do want a little more control around the case, you could wire them a little differently if you wanted to, but these can daisy chain together, no problem. That's one thing we did like about these fans. No need to really use a hub or control or anything like that unless you already had one you want to use. Sometimes those can clean things up, but with these, like I said, you can just route them all together and that takes care of everything. But yeah, I think that's everything as far as looking around inside, outside of the case here. We'll go and dive into putting this thing together and we'll come back and check out some thermals and tell you guys our thoughts on the case. Let's go with that. Quick addendum while we're building here. The Castle 360 actually won't fit in the front here. We plan to do push-pull. Not really enough room here. The controller top seems to kind of get in the way. But no worries, we actually do have a 240 from Deepcool still that they provided with us as well. We'll go and swap over to that one real quick. All right, here we are. This one should do better mounted at the top anyway. That way we don't have to mount the tubes backwards. So let's go with this one. All right, so after further consideration and kind of playing around with this, we actually decided to go with an air cooler. So we actually put the stock mounting brackets back on because today we're going to be using the Katana 5 from over from Scythe Coolers. They actually sent this over to us as well, so thank you, Scythe Coolers. We figured it would be a good idea to test this with an air cooler, even one of this size, because the Scythe 5 is, the Katana 5 is not a huge cooler by any means. It's actually a 92mm fan here, but it actually runs really quiet still, but it's still pretty beefy fin stack here. So we're gonna pop this one on and then we'll actually run some thermal testing on the airflow. So we did run into some mounting issues, like I said, with the 360 rad mounting up front here. We're gonna do push-pull, just not really a whole lot of room there to do that. It is a little harder to fit because the front IO here, it does make it kind of hard to fit a 360 in here. A 240 would be fine, but we did try the 240 we had, the other 240 we had, the only other 240 we had on hand from Deepcool, their captain, and it was having some issues with the way that pump is set up, actually fitting in place and not coming into contact with this fan too much, and the wiring kind of hanging down too far and getting in the way of the GPU. So we're actually going to go ahead and run this all air. Like I said, no crazy AO pumps or anything to deal with. We'll just set this up as an air cooler. So we'll go ahead and slap this one on and keep building. All right, so it's the next day. We ran into a few issues with cooler mounting, as you guys saw, and kind of the B-roll footage there. We cut the little short because we had to do a little more digging on what was going to line up. As you saw there, the 360 rad was a little harder to fit in the front. We probably could have run it through the front panel and then had the fans on the inside. But we figured at that point we would just try 240 up top and leave the 360 up front because we really like the look of the 3 fans up front. Issue we ran into with the 240 here, and we'll show some close-ups of this. It's pretty tight up here. Issue we ran into was mounting the deep cool cooler we had up top here was, like I said, we were running into issues of it wanting to touch the RAM heat sinks as well as the VRM heat sinks on the motherboard itself. So just be mindful when shopping around for coolers. If you're looking to get this case, like I said, we did run into some clearance issues of trying to fit the 240 up there. So we actually ended up going with the air cooler we showed you previously. It's a great little cooler from Scythe. It's actually a 92 millimeter fan, which was surprising for us. Never really worked with a fan that size. Most have been standard 120s. So it was neat to see that on a cooler like this, and it's surprisingly quiet considering it being a little bit smaller of a fan. Because like I said, typically when we work with any kind of smaller fans in the past, they tend to produce a little more noise compared to 120s or 140s, but this one stays pretty whisper quiet. Now, we were assuming they wouldn't get the same amount of cooling performance, but surprisingly, even under load, we were only reaching temps for around 77 as a steady state. I don't know if that was just because mainly the 3 intake fans here at the front, and just like I said, 1 exhaust in the back running the case in its stock configuration here. Running the Aorus 2070 Super. We did try a test running Furmark and then running Cinebench on the CPU and just let them cycle for about 30 minutes, and we seemed to reach a steady state of around, we reached about 78 to 80 on the GPU, and then on the CPU we were seeing up around 81, 82 degrees. Like I said, this is a bit smaller of a cooler, but even still, like I said, we were definitely blown away by the amount of performance this thing had, and never really got that loud either, so pretty impressed with that. So like I said, if you guys were looking for a case in this form factor that's kind of aimed around good airflow, I think the NovaMesh TG is a solid one. If I had to give it a score, I think it would receive a solid B- here for, you know, the few gripes we have with it, mainly being because of how the spacing is set up on the top and it's a little bit shorter mid-tower ATX form factor. Like so we had to pre-wire the EPS connection, which isn't that big of a deal, but there's not a large cutout up top here that, you know, would let you pass through once the motherboard's already been installed. So definitely, if you're gonna get a case like this, definitely pass that through, or any cables through, before you install the motherboard, to make it a lot easier to run that when you're done. Other than that, the cutouts for the 24 pin and the 8 pin for the GPU were fine. They come out right in place where they need to be. Like I said, the cutouts near the bottom were lined up pretty well for where they need to be to pass front panel connectors, USB 3, USB 2 devices, things like that. Like I said, the main gripe just being that top EPS connector. I will say one more con, in our opinion. When we were installing our power supply, we were using that larger M1 power supply that we showed you in the beginning. It didn't fit. We actually had to do a little bit of modding because it does have 2 3.5 inch bay, you know, drive slots at the bottom for, you know, kind of some quick swapping, which is, you know, great to have. The only issue is these are riveted in place. You actually can't remove or slide that hard drive cage out of the way. So if you are using a power supply that is a bit longer, like the one we were using in this N1 larger power supply here, which again, way overkill for this build, but it's just, you know, one we had on hand. You just want to be mindful of how long your power supply is. If you're going in a case like this, like I said, the basement covers everything fine, but that hard drive cage does get in the way. We actually did speak with BITFENIX about this, gave them our feedback on building in the case, and they were looking to do, if they were launched a, you know, kind of NovaMesh TG version 2, kind of address some of those issues, like being able to move the hard drive cage or remove it completely if you're not using it, or if you need more power supply space. Like I said, a little bit of the spacing up top here, and maybe address the room for the 360 mounting up front, because like I said, it is possible to pull off just a tight fit, especially if you're trying to do push-pull, because I really like the look of these NovaMesh Spectre ARGB fans here. They look really solid up front. I really like having that all white aesthetic going on up front there. So I mean, being able to, you know, if we were to block that by putting a rad there instead, it just wouldn't look is good in my opinion. So being able to put the radiator behind it more easily would be nice. And it seems like the top, your power reset switch, all of this panel kind of gets in the way of being able to fit a 360 there. Like I said, a 240 or 280 should be fine. Like I said, just harder to fit a 360 up front. But that's gonna do it for our review on this one today. Like I said, thermals, really solid. This is a great airflow oriented case. Again, solid B- across the board on this one. Like I said, if you do like the form factor, like I said, it's really nice mesh front panel here. Easy to clean, pops off, easy to clean. You do have that magnetic dust filter at the top, as well as one on the power supply as well. To clean that out, you do have to kind of flip the case to get to that. But before we go, we can actually do this. I'm gonna flip this around since we didn't get to do this yet. Stuck behind the thumb screws. At least send you guys away with a peel. So again, thank you guys for stopping by and checking us out. Like I said, we're over on Instagram at Desktops Gaming. We'll have the full build shots of this build going over there. Like I said, you guys feel free to subscribe to us. Like I said, we'll be doing more build reviews here, case reviews here. Like I said, if you do want us to dive into more strict thermal testing, we gave you some of the numbers, but if you do want us to kind of chart this stuff out, that's something we are working on doing. Like I said, again, appreciate you guys for hanging out. The kind of temporary setup currently. Like I said, planning a move here in the next month, so we're building a new set. So again, this is kind of temporary for now, but we still wanted to get some more work done. So like I said, this is what we have to work with currently. So again, thank you guys for stopping by and checking out. Again, go over to Desktops Gaming on Instagram. Check out the giveaway we're doing on the Dawn TG case from BITFENIX. Like I said, rave reviews on that one. We actually did a review here on YouTube of that case, but we're doing a giveaway for the Spectre RGB fans. The same fans are actually in this case, as well as the Dawn TG. And like I said, we're doing the Dawn TG case giveaway itself. So head on over to Instagram to check that out. There's a highlight there that'll show you how to enter and tell you all the rules to enter. So go check that out. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe on this one. Let us know if you want to see more of the Nova Mesh TG. Like I said, I believe that about does it. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Take it easy.